Hey, what's up, guys? Wanted to talk a little bit more about national pastime with you and just sort of cover a couple of other stuff. Might be interesting to talk about. I think today what we're going to talk about is the hit and run play. So we'll go take a look at this really quick. We'll go over to the screen. I'll make myself a little bit bigger if you don't mind. There we go. And we'll move this down just a little bit so it's a little bit maybe easier on your eyes. Yeah, basically the place to look here for hit and run plays is again at the board. On the boards, and you can see, so there's charts for the bunt, sacrifice, play, and then there's the hit and run play. We'll just go take a real quick look at this. It should be a fairly quick and simple video. And the reason why is because there are things that are different here, and there are things that actually have confused me as I've played by myself as part of this project. So if you look at the hit and run play, you'll notice that there are things that are different, and they're different in both the runner on first and runner on first and third situations. First thing I should say is that this distinction, having only two different hit and run options, runner on first only or runners on first and third, is sort of a continuation of what happens with the old APBA baseball game, right? That's where this decision was made. Naturally, you can run the hit and run with any sort of base situation, right? But with these games, there's only really two different options you have for actually playing it. You can always spot an APBA player in the wild because we usually won't call for the hit and run unless there's either runner on first and runner on first and third. And you'll see us playing like OOTP, wondering how we can look at the number of 31s a guy has. We'll talk about that here in a second. I don't remember if this is the same with APBA or not, but with Skeetersoft, there's a couple of interesting things to note. For example, play result number 1 in both situations is a double, not a home run. 2, 3, 4, so 4 and 5 are singles, interesting, in both situations. 2 is result number 2 results in, with the runner on first, results in the batter being thrown out at home after the runner scores, which is interesting. And there's a couple of these that have different options for outs and things like that. Other interesting things to note is that so a hit and run won't save you from rolling an 8 against a B or a 9 against a C. I'm trying to remember if it does in APBA or not. It might. In this situation as well, it's the same sort of thing. In fact, a B will stop a 9 with runners on first and third, actually in both situations. So it's a little bit precarious to bunt. What might be a base hit normally in the game ends up not being a base hit here. A couple of other interesting things, of course, as we've seen before, if you roll a 13 with the hit and run play on, you're going to roll into a double play, and that happens in both of these situations, so you don't want to do that. A 14 with runner on first is okay if the runner has an 11 in the first column, which is why I always look. Runners on first and third, no luck. It's not going to save you. In fact, this hit and run play with runners on first and third has nothing to do with that 11. There's nothing on here about that, so something to pay attention to. Now, because it happens here actually twice, also a 35 with hit and run play with the runner on at first with a 10 or 11 will be a safe steal of second. But if you roll a 35 and he doesn't have that, then he's out trying to steal, whereas here it's just a foul out. So interesting stuff to look at, interesting to see sort of how things have changed from one board to the next. The most famous one, though, to pay attention to is the thing that's good, which is roll 31, which is normally a fly out to center field, or also a 44 will result in a base hit. That's what you want to look at, and it happens in both of these boards. And so when you're trying to decide whether to hit and run with a batter, you need to look at the number of 31s. Most batters are going to have like a specific number of 31s, but some will have a couple more. There are other dangers too, right? So a 33 or a 34 will be a double play. Here a 23 is a double play with runner on first. 23 means the runner's automatically out stealing. There's a lot of times where the runner will be out stealing, and 33 and 34 are also both double plays. So we'll show you here really quick. Let's see if we can find, I don't know, what's a good team. Well, let's see here. Let's find, I don't know, we can find the Pirates and take a quick look at Honus Wagner. Just curious to see how many 31s he has. So it's Skeetersoft. There's always going to be a 34-44. That's always here. And you look through this as well to see, does he have any other 31s? You can see that he doesn't have any 32s. He does have a 30, and he does have another 31. So there is another 31 there for him, which means you have, 2 out of 36 chances of maybe getting ahead. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily like a great thing or not, right? It sort of depends on what you want to characterize it as. In contrast, we can look at Ty Cobb. I haven't looked at this beforehand. Cobb also has the 44, and he also has the 131. I'm sorry, 231s. There's another one here. So if you have good eyes and you know where to look for these things, you're like, well, Cobb has that extra chance. So 3 out of 36 chances with the hit and run going of getting the base hit. Maybe we want Cobb to do the hit and run. How about this? Wahoo Sam Crawford has a 44 here, a 31 here, and a 31 there. Same thing as Cobb. So this is the sort of guy who you probably want to use the hit and run with more often if you have that option, right? If there is a runner on at first or runners on at first and third. Anyway, really, really basic stuff to talk about here. As you'll be able to tell as I continue to write things for the blog and we go through national pastime, we'll start to go through like what each of the unusual rules means and stuff like that. You'll see that, there's some like weird outcomes with hit and run where the guy's always going to be out stealing and stuff. It's not very common, right? Not all play result numbers are made equal. But there are little ways you can sort of game the system where you can look at the cards for hints and things. And the numbers of 31s is one of those really big and kind of obvious ones. Most seasoned APBA players know about this. Most guys who played in leagues know about this, obviously. But there are a lot of people who don't. This is the reason why I wanted to bring it up. Anyway, there you have it. And I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.